Once upon a time, I believed in near-death experiences that comforted me, soothed my terror that death was the end, oblivion, nothingness. Back then, I was so terrified of death being nothing. I would have had rather spent eternity burning in hell forever and ever than go out of existence at death. At least in hell, you're conscious. But I've read over so many near-death experiences. Says Dr. Maurice Rawling, the Christians. There's a near-death experience that confirms Catholic theology. There's near-death experiences that confirm Christian theology. There's near-death experiences that confirm New Age theology. Translation. Right now, I mock near-death experiences. They're crap. They're just a little bonus right before you die, and lights out. Game over. The end. That's all near-death experiences are. Now, what do I think is happening in the brain? Okay. The human animal, whatever you want to call him, human being, is composed of three major elements. First, there's the conscious. Then there's the unconscious. Then there's the subconscious. Then there's the super unconscious. Let me break it down in a way you can understand. The conscious level of our existence is like a desktop. And when you open a tab on your desktop, consciously, you can only be aware of so many things at one time. That's why you can't. Some people can multitask, but you know, it's the equivalent of opening 2 or 3 or 4 tabs on your computer. One tab you're working on YouTube, and another tab you're working on Word document, another tab you are listening to music. That's all on the conscious level. But then there's the unconscious. Now the subconscious. Now the, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, subconscious. That's the hard drive. The hard drive is processing shitloads of bits of information, and that you're not aware of when you're working on your tabs that you got open on your computer. Same thing. Your subconscious is dealing with 10,000 thoughts a second. My grandpa told me back in 1989. Your subconscious thinks 10,000 thoughts a second that your conscious level is not aware of. And then there's the assembly language of the computer. That's the actual language that makes the computer do what it does. That's that's your superconscious. The assembly language of what it means is to be a human being, to be you. All the programming that makes all your instincts, your drives, everything you are as a human being comes from that. What's happening in the near-death experiences? Okay, hold on, give me a second. I need to reboot up my photo. What's happening in the near-death experiences is, if you take LSD, it brings your subconscious level up to your conscious level, so that you are able to consciously. It would be like being able to, on a computer, every aspect your hard drive can do, you could do and be aware of everything at the same time. LSD and drugs like that bring the subconscious level up to the conscious level. So you're aware of what's happening in your subconscious. And this creates the illusion of a spiritual experience when it's not. So when you're dying, your conscious level, your consciousness, the areas of your brain that regulate consciousness are down and out. So the areas of your brain that regulate your subconscious must take over the function of the brains that regulate consciousness. And this causes you to have a quote-unquote spiritual experience. You know, it's kind of like this. If you have no legs, your arms learn to do the work that your legs can do. That's what's happening in your brain. The areas of your brain that control your subconscious levels, your subconsciousness is having to perform the work that the areas of your brain that control consciousness should have to do, but can't because they're dying. As you die, your conscious areas of your brain die first, and your deepest levels of your brain die off. And the human computer is terrified of the thought of going out of existence, of dying. Lights out, game over. So the subconscious level creates a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spiritual, heavenly-like scenario to deceive your conscious, to deceive you into thinking that you're going to go on and on forever and ever. So that when you die, you never die. You're just going on thinking you'll get to live forever, and all of a sudden, lights out, game over, bam. You never see it coming. It eases you into the oblivion of death when you die. So it gently pushes you into the blackness of nothingness. Damn, I'm so damn ugly. I want to kill myself sometimes. But the your assembly language element of your personality knows this. But it's so deep in your subconsciousness, you do not know that it knows this. But when Howard Storm had these near-death experience, and when he came back, he said it became an obsession to wonder whether his near-death experiences was real or brought on by the extreme physical stress of dying. What was happening was the knowledge that is in his assembly language area of his personality. For a computer, assembly language is what makes the computer do what it does. Everything, all the zeros and ones, everything on the computer is not everything. The ability to see, play music, Google Earth is nothing but zeros and ones. That's what your assembly language. That's what the assembly language of your personality is. Nothing but biological zeros and ones. Biological and electrical zeros and ones. That's all it is. It's more than biological. It's biological, electrical, and it's connected to the electromagnetic spectrum. Maybe there is some kind of life after death in the electromagnetic spectrum, but it's not. That's not spiritual. That's not spiritual, hon. Come on. And this knowledge is leaking up to your subconscious, to your conscious level of consciousness from your the zeros and ones that make your person, the very core of your existence. And this is what's happening to Howard Storm. On the subconscious and on the deepest subconscious level, he believed he was going to go to heaven forever when he died. But the assembly language, the zeros and ones of his personality knew that it had concocted the whole thing the East Howard storm and what it thought was his impending death. But the subconscious area was able to work some magic to get him to come back, to keep him from dying. Ever notice how near-death experiences, everybody wants to stay with light, but light tells them, no, it's not your time to go. That's because the zeros and ones that create you near-death experience know that if you die, you're going to go out of existence. And it deceives you into thinking, hey, you got work to do on Earth. Go back to keep you living a little bit longer so you don't die. That's the biological process. That's a drive, instinctual drive of every biological organism to stay alive and well as long as possible. Now, everyone notice when some people who have near-death experiences, they come back. They become master savants. They can see they can see spirits and dead people. Now, what's happening there is when the person was dying, when the subconscious, the areas of the brain that control subconsciousness had to make up and take over control of the areas of the brain that should have been regulating consciousness but couldn't regulate consciousness because they were dying. The longer you stay in that state of death, the more brain cells you lose that regulate consciousness. So the areas of the brain that regulate subconsciousness must, when you come back, they have to regulate consciousness too. And because the areas of the brain that regulate subconsciousness are doing this, you're able to both see concentrate on the consciousness areas of level that only your consciousness should have to deal with, and because your brain that regulates subconsciousness is doing this, you also see things that your subconscious is being brought up to a level of consciousness. So in your subconscious levels can figure out things Einstein couldn't figure out. And that is why you have master savants, because your subconscious is doing the work of that the conscious levels of the brain can't do because they died. And that's why they come back and are math geniuses, math savants, have special powers, because it's come from the subconscious. Since the subconscious is having to do the job of the conscious, the subconscious brings with it all that it can do to your areas of the brain that regulate consciousness. Am I making myself clear? But gradually, as time progresses, your brain equalizes out, and you gradually lose some powers. Let me all know what y'all think. Damn, I wish I didn't have this damn stroke.